Welcome back to KWK and Tafari Solutions. What's
Welcome,
up, Tamet?
welcome.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm good on this beautiful hot Thursday.
Yeah, the heat has me rethinking some things, every year. And I like the heat. I do
Yeah,
like the heat, but I
you
think,
tropical. You're a tropical brother, right?
yeah. I'm a tropical baby for real, no doubt. You know what I mean? No doubt. But I think as I get older, the heat making me rethink, our relationship a little bit.
What? What'd you say that for?
Cause I don't know, it's just like my mind is cool, but the body like, yo, it's too hot.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little bit too hot. And
You know
stay
what I'm
inside.
saying? So it's like, yeah, okay, don't play yourself, cool. Because I go outside, sit in the sun all day, no problem. But then it beats you down because it takes
Yeah,
out a lot of energy, right?
it's the mosquitoes for me. I mean, I
Oh,
don't mind the heat, but the mosquitoes will run me in the house faster than anything.
I call them firefighters. Little jets, mini jet. You know what I mean? Flying into you, stinging, and you can't even see them.
Uh-uh.
Now they got these little black and gray ones. I think that's the early phase when they come out of larvae mode. And them ones right there, them jokers ain't no joke. Like
Mm-mm. Ain't
they,
none of them a
they,
joke.
they gang banging for
They
real.
are. Tag you
You
real
know,
cool.
they're
Boom,
like
boom, boom.
new blood over there. Let's go get them. Let's leave them with a big whelp on their head or neck or legs.
It don't
So
matter. It don't
yeah,
matter.
it's been what 2 weeks already since we did our last show.
Yes, it feels like it's been so long.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then that day we had our roots.
That's right. That's what it was. The same day we had roots, and it's been 2 weeks. It's been
Yeah,
2 weeks.
yeah. It was a really good event. I'm still chewing on
Oh.
the event. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Same here. Same here. Quite a bit to process and take in. I've really been embracing those pillars we were standing on: character, relationship, and systems.
Hmm.
Um, I know we talk about it often, but to have like an event behind it was like, wow, it just really resonated differently. And it, challenged me to go these next 6 months moving in a different way. So I'm going to pause first before I start moving though. So I'm excited about the pause.
Nice. You said a key. You should just said before we get into our topic of discussion. You just said a key statement. 6 months or words, I should say. The next 6 months, we are at the
Mhm.
halfway mark of the year.
Yep.
Where are people at right now in terms of their business and their decisions and generating revenue and et cetera, right? I think it's
Mhm.
an important piece to kind of go through it. And this is not a time to be laissez-faire, right?
Yeah.
I just recently, business therapy, we do a lot of business health checks. We talk about it on
Hmm.
the shows. But look, I done did my own
Okay.
business health check, right?
Nice.
I,
I
I
like that.
putting it together, and I found out some really good things that I need to kind of
Hmm.
adjust up, right?
Hmm.
Which will help improve the overall business, right? And so yeah, business health check. Check the health of your business. Where are you at? Where you currently stand? That's
Cool.
kind of something
Question.
that we need to do at that halfway mark. Go ahead.
If somebody wanted to get a business health check, how would they go about that?
Yeah, they just go to biztherapycoaching.com and schedule a consultation. And we'll start the process there.
'Cause that looks like a very thorough document, to be able to have something tangible to hold on to as far as a business assessment. So I
Yeah,
think that's awesome that you're offering that to folks.
absolutely. I'm gonna speak up on it a little bit more, and I'm gonna do some biz therapy episodes too that kind of alludes to some of the elements of a health check. But
Hmm.
the health check gives you a roadmap and a operating system for yourself and your business, right? Because
Mhm.
everything business is nothing but systems. So I think it's important that we kind of just really begin to lean on those things, um, because as we all know, life in the market is changing. How business is done is changing. There's a lot more entrepreneurs or people starting business as entrepreneurs, small business owners, founders, whatever title you kind of, you identify with. There's a lot of that happening now, even more so since COVID. And so,
Mhm.
there is room for growth. There's abundance and prosperity for everybody. So, but we got to make sure that we're putting the right energy and focus, in those particular areas, which leads us into. Go ahead. I knew
I
you
just
were
want
gonna
to,
do it.
I do. I want to add because I think, when you talk about that increase in entrepreneurship, I think a lot of people are starting to see through the BS that the system wants to give us. Like, there was the industrial age, and it's go to work, go to college, this and that. And we're starting to see past all of that. Like, I can actually be free and create. And a lot of times we're not really trained to create or to think. Um, and so I think now a lot more people are liberating themselves, and entrepreneurship is one of those ways that they're finding liberation. So I just wanted to highlight that, it's a reason why everybody looking to start their own business, because freedom has always been there. It's just been waiting on us.
True, and you know what? It's not, and you're right in everything you just said. And it's not necessarily. No one needs to really teach us how to think, because we're thinkers. Think about when we're in dire straits, the
Mhm,
magic that happens, right? I mean, it fully consumes us bodily,
mhm.
physically, emotionally, mentally, right? Because
Yeah,
we need a resolution for that thing, so we can continue living our life, whatever it is, right?
that's right. That's
I,
right,
I
Corey.
think the transition is access to information, access to understanding of what something
Mhm,
is, right?
mhm.
A lot of the world has been taught, go to school, get a degree, go to get a job, work for somebody for 40 years, and the next 30 years you sit around and kick rocks and wrap up your bones and go to the doctors and lay there and wait for God to call you, right?
You're right.
You know what I mean? So
That's what
you know what I
everybody
mean?
wants.
Right.
Yeah.
So now it's and this is why the journey is so important, because it's not just starting a business,
Mhm.
having a business, right?
Yeah.
It's the journey of learning.
Yeah.
It's you kind of got to erase what you know,
That's true. You definitely got to be right.
right? But
Right.
in order to do that, you have to understand, what it is that you're trying to learn. What are you trying to achieve? And you have
Mhm.
to allow what you don't know to teach you what you need to know,
That's right.
right? And so um, that comes with a lot. And there's surface level business, and then there's that really. I'm gonna give you some words now. Ready?
Yeah.
Informal economy.
Talk about that.
Like what?
Wait a minute. We might be going off this. We're gonna come back to the
Yeah,
title,
we're
the
gonna come back
subject.
because all of this is gonna flow
Okay.
right into
Because
it,
I
right?
haven't heard
We
of
we're
informal
unplanned here.
them
In,
$5 words and stuff.
informal economy.
Mhm.
Think about that for a minute. What is that? What does that tell you? Well, what do you think that means?
I mean, I feel like I'm thinking about relationships, bartering. Um,
Keep going. You
I
there?
don't know.
Keep
Am
going.
I warm or am I cold?
You're getting warm.
Informal stuff that's like under the table, under the radar. Slide you that, you slide me this, and we work it out. Um, yeah,
Half
that's all
baked.
I got.
Half baked.
Yeah, that's all.
Right. People that are entrepreneurs are creating uh, new jobs. So they're self-employed, right?
Mm.
They're not regulated. They have an LLC, but they don't have anything
Oh.
else, right?
Mm.
And there's a lot of that out there.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that goes along with the belief of I just need to get by. I don't know if I can make it to the top as a successful business
Mhm.
owner, right? Entrepreneur, right? Because then that goes into access to funding and capital, certain resources. Maybe I feel uncomfortable in a certain room. My education level is such, especially with technology being a big play right now. A lot of people don't feel compelled that they're good enough to embrace technology. So,
Mhm.
they're okay with doing the familiar things, right? Getting away with, fake it till you make it. Getting away with not hiring employees, which goes back to a couple of episodes before with the stats of 96% of business owners are solo, right? So now think about if we could drop that percentage down to like maybe even 10% to 86%. We got to do it in increments, right? If we get it down to 86%, that means that the other percentage has employees. And so when you have employees, right, then that means the communities grow stronger,
Mhm.
have an impact on communities. Then that means that
Okay.
there's enough to spread for everybody, right? So there's a lot to play into this. It's just understanding your lane,
Mhm.
where your north star is or your direction, and who's around you to support you, or who are you supporting, and how are you guys supporting each other or doing business together. Utilization of resources, like it could be two businesses, but if you could share resources, think about how much cost will go down.
Mhm.
So then that leaves room for generating profits.
Mhm.
Net profit, not growth. Gross is the big one. The net is the bottom. That's what we
Mhm.
take home. You know what I mean? Let's go break some bread. So
Mhm.
the informal economy, there's obviously been around for a long time, that definition. But it's something that, I'm always looking. Stuff comes to me. I'm always thinking about things. And
Mhm.
the informal economy just kind of puts kind of a bracket around a lot of small business owners, vendors, etc. Right?
Mhm.
Um, so that leans into our topic, right? What is our
Okay.
topic of the day? Ha is what I'm doing worthy of my consistency, or am I giving away my capacity?
That's a good one.
Yeah, that came to me like early in the week. I was probably about 1 in the morning. I was like, I think I was watching something.
Mhm.
I was watching a video, a YouTube video, and they talked about consistency. But that also piggybacks off of our previous episode, not the previous episode, decisions.
Mhm.
Because when we make certain decisions, then consistent, now we put something consistent in place,
That's right.
right? And so now it's success isn't built by being consistent with everything. It's about being consistent with the right things. So what are the right things?
Mm.
How do we know it's the right things in business? So now we get to measuring activity and using the data to tell us what's right, what's working, what's not. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on that?
I absolutely believe in using the numbers to guide your decision making. I have done that recently with, I believe if you look at the numbers, they'll tell you what steps you need to be taking. So, like, with looking at my numbers, it's telling me I need to be selling more. I'm not selling, I'm presenting, but I'm not selling. And so, with that, I looked at, okay, over the next 3 months, how much money do I want to make? What's the minimum? And then what's like the goal, right? And then in the next 6 months, when I look at these numbers, this is my end goal. Now let me backtrack. I was speaking with a gentleman yesterday, and I asked him. He said, "Well, I'm looking to make about $70,000 to $80,000 before the year is over." Like, dang. Oh, I mean, that's great. You know what I'm saying? I need to up my goals. Right?
Right.
This boy said 70 to 80 like it was nothing. And I was like, yeah, you know? And so, but when you think about you want 70 to $80,000 in 6 months, well then what do you need to with what you offer, what is going to help you to get to that amount? And then with your service, and then if there's nothing that you offer that can help you get to that amount in that amount of time, then do you create something new and or do you improve your system? And that's when I realized for myself, I need to improve the system. And so what the systems are the actions that I take, the decisions, like you mentioned earlier, that I'm making daily and weekly. Some things now need to go to priority of the list. And a lot of times it's the stuff I don't want to do. It's let me make these cold calls. Let me follow up on all these business cards and let me reach back out again after they told me no, you know. So it's going through the process where you may face rejection. It's going through the process of very tedious, arduous, detailed little tasks. If you're not a detailed person, I can be, but it's something I've had to pray for that skill set. Okay. And I'm still in prayer about details because I'm like, they can be boring, but it's the boring work that makes the most money. Like, that's the stuff that's going to get you the money, not the flashing and shining on camera. That's the fun stuff.
It's the unsexy work.
It is. And you said that before. It is unsexy work. And I'm in my unsexy era.
Hey, but you know what? It builds character, right?
Tell me about it.
My dad always says that the hard, unsexy work builds character, right?
It truly does.
And my aunt always said, in your roughest and toughest times is when you'll know when you have authentic people and situations around you. Right. And so pushing through. So you're talking my language when you talk about sales, right? Like, I come from that background, the especially in the old school way. And so having the right targets and the only way to have the right targets is qualifying that lead. So you have lead qualification, and then once you go through the lead qualification, then you go through, is this a prospect? Is the target go from target to prospect, right? And what are the qualifications that they went through to be validated as a prospect? And
you dropping gems. You dropping gems right now. I don't know if anybody's catching it, but I am.
Okay.
So, when you said from target to prospect, and then what are the qualifications of your prospect?
Yeah, you got to go from target to qualifying to prospect to client.
That's good. And I don't think we take the time to think about that. What qualifies a person to be my client? Because I had to learn the hard way. You can't serve everybody. Everybody ain't for me.
Well, if everybody was for you, then you're not in business. It's a hobby. You just want to be liked. Yeah, everybody's not going to like you. Everybody's not for you. You back in the day, they used to say, listen, if you have 14 out of 100%, if you have 14% of the market, that was your target and your preferred client, right? Then guess what? That's all you need. You got to figure out of that 14%, how many of those clients are going to be renewable clients for you. Right? And so on and so on and so on. And then out of that percentage of renewable clients, how many of them going to refer you for other clients? Because you have attrition. Clients fall away. So you have to have a couple of different pipelines. You got to have your main pipeline, then you got to have your attrition, and you got to be. And this is why having I'm going into it. CRM is important because you get to put this data in of who you're profiling your client.
What's the CRM? Let's write that down.
Customer relationship management system.
Okay.
Right. Takes it out of your head, puts it in the system. You can use it for marketing, so on and so forth. But you put your notes, your call notes, your thought notes, any deliverables, services that you're providing to a particular customer or client. And by
Mhm.
you keeping up on that information, when you go to do your, I don't know, some people do monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annual reviews of their client base, right? You kind of get this, you get good at being proactive on who may not come back as a client.
Mm.
And or you say, you know what, we have a set of clients that have these needs and we've been filling in those needs here or there, but now the data shows we need to either add on to this service or we need to
Mhm.
create another service, which is an upsell or an add-on,
Mhm.
so we can keep the LTV, lifetime value of the client. So LTV is lifetime value,
Mhm.
meaning how long does a customer stay a customer for you, which keeps your recurring revenue in place.
Oh, you went to school for this.
Oh no, I went the hard way for this. I
You
went
know
the
all the
hard way.
business words, LTV,
Yeah, no,
CRM.
I had to learn these things. You know what? I had to learn. Let me tell you something.
Tell me, tell me.
I had to learn the language.
Mhm.
When I would hear, when I'm in meetings, or I'm around people, or I see certain things in business, and business always intrigue me. I'm like, what are they talking about? So then I understand I worked for a company years ago and
Mhm.
nothing but acronyms.
Mhm.
And
And
I'm
you
like,
be
what are they
like, "No,
talking
what that
about?
mean?
Like what?
What
So
that
I'm
mean?"
writing these things. I would take a pen and write it on my hand if I hear it, just going down the hall to the bathroom and people by the elevator. And I'm like, and they talking about this, that, and third. And I'm like, huh? And then I used to be to be friends with upper management, you
Mhm.
know. But my thing was always like, what is the baseline, and then what is the bottom line to business,
Mhm.
certain business, right? And sales is always sales are never going anywhere, because if you don't have sales, you don't have a business,
That's right. You got to sell something. You can
right?
have the services, but if you ain't selling,
But what's also equally important is the operational aspect,
yeah.
right? So understanding, and when we think that we don't understand, we shouldn't understand how corporate thinks. If we understood how corporate thinks and how they move, trust me, you'll take some of those elements and bring it down to where you at, because it'll make your life a lot easier.
That's
And one
right.
of the things corporate does is they have systems, and they
Mhm.
use the intel to help them better either cut back or improve, or add on or replace or whatever it is that they're doing, right? Because they always got to get to this number. It's always this number. If they gotta put lay people off to reduce, to help propel to get to that number, then that's what they got to do. If they got to add people in to go sell some more, or operation wise, then they'll do that to get to that number. That number is always a thing.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And if you can't get to that, whoever's managing that number, who's ever in charge of that number, CEO, because the CEO drives vision and mission. They ain't supposed to do the dirty work. They did the dirty work to become a CEO. Most of them. Some people just got money to buy a business, say, hey, I'm a CEO. I got my family money. I need to invest it and grow it, right? But that number, whoever doesn't get to that number, that's when you have organizations or companies that replace CEOs in a lot of ways very quickly,
Mhm.
because they're not getting to that number. Same thing with like sports. That coach, if that team keep failing, coach out of here, you're gone, buddy. We're getting another one because we need to get to the championship. But
That's
anyway,
so true.
so
That's so good, Corey. You got me thinking over here like I need to be doing this.
I'm trying to just get it out of my brain to the people, because I you know
That's
I got a
great,
lot. I
man.
got a lot stored up in there, because
You gonna
I've
get it out.
experienced, I've experienced a lot, and again, this is what the foundation of biz therapy is for, right?
That's
Is to
right.
help. Is to help people get unstuck. Is to help people get out of isolation. Is to
Mhm.
help people go, when they put their feet on the ground in the morning, they go, all right. It's not, damn, what am I going to do today? It's
That's right.
okay. I'm ready for the day. Let's
So do you
go.
help with operations too?
Say that again.
Do you help with operations, just to be clear?
Full gambit. A to Z. A
Okay,
to
y'all
Z.
hear that? If
A
you're
to
looking
Z.
for that help,
A to Z.
operations,
We take you
unstuck.
through now. We take you through. After you go through the business health check, we take you through. There's a couple of different ways, but we take you through your coaching. We do some workshops, right? We have 12 sessions in our beginner one, which is just getting organized,
Mm-hmm.
right? Time. Um, there's three important pieces in the beginning. There's
That's true.
time, right? There
Yeah.
is there's focus, right? What are you
Mm-hmm.
focused on? And then
Mm-hmm.
there's frustrations, right? We need to
Mm-hmm.
talk about our frustrations
Mm-hmm.
because when we don't talk about our frustrations, which we're all good for doing, it we think it doesn't build up, but frustrations don't go away.
Mm-hmm.
Hard things being hard don't go away. We just become better at either dealing with it or masking it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about what I just said. We become better at dealing with it or masking it. So
That's
there's a
true.
consequence for that. The
It is.
consequence is stress,
That's
right? Now,
right.
now on a people level, we think about stress as we just stress, we frustrated, we mad, we angry, we irritable. It's
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of stuff going on, right? Then we have all of these distractions around us.
Mm-hmm.
In the physical realm of stress, we build up what they call cortisol,
Talk about it.
right? Now, I'm not a doctor, but I know enough to be dangerous, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cortisol is a chemical, a stress chemical in your body. That's when you get sick and you get
Mm-hmm.
ailments because you harboring the stress in your body. And so now we
Mm-hmm.
think, for those of us that think we know it all, or we got the answers, if you don't know about cortisol and how that thing works, keep stressing.
Turn
Because
your
then
back up.
you're not going to be able to help nobody
That's true.
if
That's
that
very
thing
true.
if that thing erupts on you, right? And so for me, it's important. This is just how I learn. Like always asking why, why and what if and how, right? I think it's important. Understand the what and the why, and then the how comes later,
That's
right?
good.
But back into our flow of conversation. Is my decision or the decision that I'm making worthy of my consistency? That's a question. Why? Because consistency is expensive. I've been taking notes. I've been writing a whole bunch of notes. Right. So why is it expensive? It costs time. It costs energy. It costs attention, and it costs opportunity.
That's true. You got to say no to some things in order to stay consistent. You got to miss out on good and maybe even great in order to make sure that you remain consistent.
So that goes back to the earlier statement that consistency, the success of consistency is not in everything. It's only in the right things.
Mm. This is the thing. We're consistent in something, whether it's good or bad for us. We're gonna be consistent. It's some people who are consistent that will wake up every day and smoke a blunt every morning. Okay, like clockwork, morning, lunch, noon. Or the folks who vape, consistent with it. You ain't gonna see them without that vape, right? But when we talk about other things, especially when it comes to things for financial and business success and consistency with that,
Communication of self. We're not consistent with because we have trust issues, insecurity issues,
mm,
belief issues. Some the other side is against me. This other person is against me. Yo, we now this is not no therapy session. Psych. It is biz therapy, right? Conversations with Core and Tafari Solutions.
yeah,
You
you
know what I
gotta
mean?
stick a little bit in there.
We got to dig in. You know what I mean? So, so basically, consistency is then an investment.
It is. It is. I agree. It
Now
is
you
definitely
said
an
something.
investment.
You said something earlier where we talked about what we were taught or raised to do, right? So
Uh-huh.
now we weren't taught invest. What does investment even mean? Because consistency
Mhm.
and investment, or I'll just say the word investment, is an intangible thing to us as a community,
Mhm.
right? You put your money in the market, invest in this, invest in the time and expertise from this system, this person, whatever. It's intangible. It's not a bag, it's not a car, it's not a shoe, it's not a vacation, it's not anything. So we have a problem with intangible things because if we don't have an immediate gratification, then investment is not a valid thing for us. Not everyone, but a lot. Does that make sense? How do you
Mhm.
track? How does that track for you?
Um, I could agree. It could be definitely intangible. Um, but it's something that produces tangible results.
Boom, you got it. Boom,
Yeah.
boom, right? Like boom. They always talk about people exercising or people with people that have like New Year's resolutions and stuff, right? And they say, and this is data. They go like by February by Valentine's Day. Most people, it's a high number. I forget what the number is. But it's actual number. Most people have forgotten about their resolutions.
Not about Valentine's Day.
Yeah, crazy, right? Crazy
It is.
because resolutions are an investment in improving who you are. So when you improve who you are, other things can benefit from who you are.
Mm.
So it goes from intangible to tangible.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that because by February, I feel like society has it laid out where they want you to be thinking about relationships and other people, and the distractions come up. You get all in your feelings about stuff. So I
Right. So
think you
look,
have to, there's so much to be mindful of and ignore at the same time. Um, yeah,
so
when
you
it
said
comes,
society, right?
yeah,
That's marketing plan right there.
the marketing of society and
No,
culture in society.
yeah, no, I'm just saying you're not wrong in what you're saying. I'm saying when we were talking about Valentine's Day, that's a whole marketing to get the message to the people so they could go and spend their money.
I know I ignore it every time. You are not about to get me.
Right, but flip it. How are they marketing? What are they doing to influence that emotional part of you as a consumer to buy? So
Like,
as small business owners, if we pay attention to how big companies are doing their marketing for certain products and services, we don't have to go necessarily reinvent the wheel. We can
mm,
adapt to that.
that's good. Now I'll
that
take that
that's a,
though.
that's a mindset shift.
That is right there. Because when I think about marketing in February, I think they're really trying to convey you don't want to be alone. You don't want to be alone. So you need to do this for the one you love because you don't want to be alone, John.
Right, right,
Whether you
right.
love like them, is married or not, you don't want to be alone. So make sure you do this. And I think if we, as business owners, maybe like you said, like you mentioned, just touch on what are those emotions. Sometimes we want to sell the product or service, but we're not actually hitting on the emotion that our client or consumer can be experiencing. If we touch on the pain point, then we may be able to get our message across a little bit
Oh, you
stronger.
dropping gems. You dropping gems. Oh, you
I'm trying to
dropping
be like
gems.
you when I grow up. That's all.
Oh,
I'm
you
trying to be like
dropping
you.
gems over there. I hope they picking up what you dropping. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the pain. It's not, oh, you can show me, oh, it's already done. Talk to me to show me that you understand what I'm truly going through. And I think it can be a challenge of how do you talk this language to your people. And what I find is sometimes just kind of sitting and reflecting on where you've been at and where you were at certain points in your life experiences, and how did you feel at that time? Did you feel defeated as a single mother, wondering how are you going to provide supplemental income for your children and your job telling you they ain't paying you no more, right? And wondering, okay, well, how am I going to figure this out? Do you have a loved one that's incarcerated and trying to see how do you show up for them, or you have been incarcerated and you just gotten out and you're trying to figure things out. So how do you let someone know that I understand what you're going through, the emotions, the pain, and I know the way out? And I think we need to be more on our Harriet Tubman, as far as, just meeting people where they're at and pulling them with us, um, into that the opportunities of freedom, that exist. And it's not to say having a full-time job is, I never want anybody to think that I believe that if you have a job, it's a bad thing. I believe you got to do whatever you got to do in that season to get to where you're trying to get to. But I think you also need to know, well, what is it that you're trying to get to? And do these steps make sense in that? You ever met that person that's trying to start this business and that business and then this business and that business? And it's just like, these are great ideas, but if you don't focus on one of these, all four of them business is going to put you in debt more than anything.
Yeah, because they got to focus on generating revenue, right? And generating revenue is not just about making money. There's a big thing around generating revenue. We'll talk about that in future episodes, but generating revenue is a whole system, right?
By itself. That ain't marketing. It ain't client relationship and journey.
Right. It's
revenue.
It's everything, right? It's a whole. So, and that's why, consistency is an investment, but also it is your greatest asset.
Yeah.
Right. And so, how is that? Time. This time is the only, there's two things that we're up against: time and ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So making sure that we and again, these are just experiences that I've gone through, that I've been around people. And again, just to kind of recap for anybody that is now jumping on the call, watching the show, this particular podcast is really about having these deep conversations, or the conversations that are not necessarily being had, right? Because people think about these things, people go through these things, people are challenged with this in all facets. You may have lost your job, and you decide, hey, I'm going to go start a business, and because my family depended on it, or some of the other examples that Tamet presented as well. So understand that, these are not, we have our opinions, which we obviously have the right to, based off our experiences and knowledge and intelligence and wisdom. However, do your own search, do your own homework within, do your own research online, talk to other people, have real conversations. They call it shop talk. Have real conversations with real people. And, it might be a little intimidating to do that at times, but that's where growth comes from. If everything is familiar, you're never going to want, well, what's the need to change if there's familiarity? I always say, especially with my kids, no challenge, no change. Right? If there's no challenge, what are you going to change?
That's
right?
True.
So life is built that way. And if you don't believe anything we say, go and watch nature. Watch the insects, watch the trees, watch the plants, watch the weather. Go and watch nature. Nature challenges itself all the time, and it still adapts to the change, and it still gives us bright days, even from the darkest moments, right? So understanding that your capacity is important. That word is about you, the individual. Your capacity is your greatest asset and value. Don't exchange that for nothing, but work with it, right? Get focused, understand energy, understand what's unnecessary. There are unnecessary things. And as we age, we get a little more wiser, they say, right? Um, it's trial and error. Um, just do your best to think about what consistency is. Remember, decisions follow decisions. Decisions trust decisions, and decisions are loyal to decisions. And so that comes from your capacity and consistency as well, right? So, another thing I wanted to share is that, but before I share, you got any thoughts on what I just kind of said?
I think people, I think with capacity, like you also have to be willing to stretch it, because you won't know how far you can go until it has been um, pulled a bit, some tension to it, like you mentioned earlier. And so I think with the capacity part, I've been in situations where I've gone past my capacity and I'm like, wait a minute, this is too much. I have to draw the line here.
Somebody start overheating.
Right? Brain about to go into combustion. But I'm glad I did challenge myself, because then I could reel it back and set boundaries. And I can unapologetically set boundaries because I know what's at stake once I've gone past capacity. I know, like, different limits. And then it's like, okay, I went this far this time. I might not have been ready for it now. But come this time next year, I'm going to be ready because I'm going to prepare now. So I think we constantly, play around with that capacity piece. It's a give and take thing. You got to go past it to like know, okay, this is how far I can go, or I don't want to go, or I can't go at this time, and then kind of see what needs to, what you need to add or let go of to, increase it. So, like, for example, for a business owner to go from kind of like one-on-one client relationships to their first major contract with a corporation, that's an uptick in capacity, right? And so how do you move strategically to now handle contract work? And I think it's one of those things, again, experience is the best teacher. But if you can find somebody, who is in your shoes or have been in your shoes as far as a mentor of somebody who has, contract experiences, you can glean that wisdom and knowledge of informal learning where you get it from somebody else, right? You can get it in the classroom, you can get it in YouTube University. But I think capacity is a very interesting experience to play around with. And sometimes you do have to stretch it and go past it. Yeah. And that's not always a bad thing. Not always a bad thing.
No, it's not. I mean, it's how you look at it, right? It's because you have without good, without good there's no bad, without bad there's no good, without right there's no wrong, without wrong there's no right. And even utilizing those terminologies is kind of there's a place for those terms too, right? Failure, like the word failure, is it really a failure? Or only way you fail is if you don't try, right? Mm-hmm. But a fail is a lesson. It's something you just got to go back to class. Because you was cutting class and decided you was gonna go straight to the quiz, or you was not doing the homework and you're like, I'm gonna take the test anyway because I'm smart, and you failed it. So now you got to repeat the class. Right. And if you're not in elementary or high school, you're still spending time because you got to do that stuff during your summertime. You know what I mean? So you losing time, and time is a cost, opportunity cost, right? And if you're in college, guess what? You got to go repay for that thing. Mm-hmm. Blew it off. You know what I'm saying? So, and even being a business owner, certain decisions cost you, and you got to go back to the table. You still got to achieve that thing. So now the cost becomes greater, right?
Right.
So
I like how you said that because there's just some things you cannot avoid doing.
yeah,
You just can't. And I think sometimes we want to try our best to work around it, skim through it, scan over it real quick, and then execute. And that might serve you well in a season, but in the long term, as far as sustainability, you're going to have to go back through that course, listen to every module, and do the work behind the module. And there's a point in this world of entrepreneurship, you can't cheat the process. You can't cheat it. You're gonna have to pay your dues.
because it's going to kick. It's going to listen. Try to cheat it. For those that don't, go ahead. You're
That's
gonna
right.
get you're
It
gonna
don't
get a
work.
you're gonna get a good lesson out of that too.
It
Because
work.
you're gonna run right into a wall, and you're gonna be like, holy moly. But I think everybody does experience that because there's certain levels that people go, all right, I'm gonna take a shortcut here, and yeah, you might get by the hair on your chin,
That's
but most
crazy.
times you imagine getting your hair caught in something, you're done, you're cooked.
You're done. You can't really say that. You're done.
You're cooked. You know what I mean? So just think about your opportunity costs. Like certain examples are like, are you maintaining something outdated within your business, a service, a way of doing it, something on your plate that you don't need to be doing, give it to somebody else, which gives you room to do other things, right?
Yeah. You
I
got
tell
to pay. You got to pay. What's
yeah,
wrong with the pay? Like, I
you
need to
know,
do it. Don't even worry about it. But it's like you
yeah,
got to.
are you attending like meetings that you don't need to meet? Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of meetings, there's a lot of conventions, there's a lot of events, there's a
Yeah.
lot of things people just want to meet people. Now, here's the question: out of those meetings or events or things that you go through, how many of those resources are you really tapping into those relationships and building? Right? Are you taking the business cards and just dropping them on your desk and putting people in your CRM if you have one? Now, there's a lot of people who don't have a CRM.
That's true. That's very
Because
true.
I fling that word around like mud. And they go, "What is that?"
CRM, customer relationship management
Management.
system,
It's a system.
relations management system.
Yes. Everybody sends out newsletters, but don't have that attached to their CRM.
Mm, mm. Well, biz therapy, you can get one.
Yeah. So yeah, swing on over to us and check us out, right? Um, but yeah, man. I mean, we pretty much we really kind of covered a lot of different things. I want to give some people some takeaways here.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, 4 questions to ask yourself.
All right.
Number one, does this move me toward my long term vision, this decision that I need to make? Not next week, not next month, the vision. That's long term. Does it create measurable value? Right? Whatever decision I need to make, whatever consistency that I'm applying, does it create measurable value? That's towards revenue, relationships, trust, because you gotta trust the process, right? So
Mm-hmm.
my consistency towards this trusting the process is immeasurable for me. Knowledge, growth, right? If it doesn't, then why are you protecting it?
Mm-hmm.
Could someone else do it?
Mm-hmm. That part.
Right? Because your capacity is better spent in other places, right? And you know, I don't know how to really say it, but action it is really just taking the time to really think through these things,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the answers you already have, a lot of the answers are already internal. You don't really have to go and look outside of yourself or the organization for a lot of different things. Those answers are right in there because of the distractions and the pressures we have. We build up this, we take on a lot, and like you said, we stretch our capacity. So when we stretch our capacity, we're actually stepping over a lot of the answers within ourselves and our organization. So if we take a step back and look at the long-term vision and then look at the now and we ask, are these things measurable? Is it helping me? What will happen if what will happen if I did this?
Mm-hmm.
What won't happen if I didn't do this?
Mm-hmm.
Ask those questions, right?
That's good.
And you know, would I choose this again? If
Mm.
I'm applying my capacity to this being consistent and it's working, or it's not working, or I'm not sure if it's working, will I do it again? Or is there somebody else? Because you can set the tonality of it, put somebody in place. Now when you put people in place, here comes the other big word: leadership. We ain't gonna talk about that today. That's a whole nother thing. That's leading and leadership. Those two words are a mouthful. So here's the question. Do your homework, people.
Do your homework.
What's one thing you've been consistently doing that may no longer deserve your consistency?
Talk about it.
That's the question.
That's gonna be
And
good.
and hey, shoot us an email with your answers.
What is in the email to?
Go to our website and send us the email.
Okay. And the
Right?
website?
Biz Therapy, B-I-Z therapycoaching.com.
All right.
And safarisolutions.com. You're not excluded from this activity. What you mean, right? You're with your info at safarisolutions.com.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. I'm hello at biztherapycoaching.com.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but again, you can access a lot of our reaching out to us via our URLs. So, we again we have a couple of different events coming up that we stay consistent with. We do realize it's warm. We do realize it's the summer. We realize everybody's in the water park or the beaches or just goofing off, right? But we have your monthly check-in.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Go
And they
check
can find that. They can find that link to join where?
on LinkedIn.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is Founders Hour, which is every other Thursday. So on the Thursdays we don't have KWK, the following Thursday is the Founders Hour. So come on through. Don't forget to check us out for your small business health check. Come on through. Now we got 7 areas, core areas, that we can help you get rated on. The consultation holds the first 3, so come on through, and we'll get you situated. Don't also forget Saturdays. Every other Saturday with my CPA partner, Hayward CPA Live. Well, we get ridiculous there too, but we try to give some good tax and advisory advice and things of that nature. All right. And if you're looking for a tribe, you have the Greater Durham Black Chamber of Commerce. Check
Absolutely.
us out. Right. If you're looking for a tribe, you're looking to become better, you're looking for support. Trust me, there's enough events. There's enough in-person, online events. There's enough people that you can really you don't have to go and create a circle. Circles created. You just have to figure out where you fit in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why not take the easy route in certain cases? So check us out now. August is coming up with Black Business Month.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go to gdbcc.org and you can look at the event calendar. Those are being posted there and updated as we get closer to August. So sign up and come and bring your pencil and paper and pad and pen, and let's get it. You still got to be able to write some things. Don't always depend on the computer too, but write some things down. Right? You got anything that you want to add? Close out to.
No, I just want to challenge people for this month. Do some reflection work. Do some really deep reflective work. Answer the questions that have been presented. and really take some time to pause and assess. I know sometimes we may feel like we can't afford to do that type of work, but there are some habits that we have that we can't afford to keep doing either. And so I think we really need to pause and assess. This is a good time to do so.
That's a good word right there.
Hmm.
That's a good word. All right, well, we're gonna deuce it up, check up the deuces, as we say, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Come on back now.